This is a new experience under the new normal environment. I'm missing the children who are. I used to ask the question from you before commencement of the class to see whether you all are working in the bank or whether just after education, after your A levels, or some are coming from different field, so that I have first-hand information for me to structure my presentation accordingly. But under these new normal situation, uh, I will just go as basic uh, my presentation in such a way for you everybody to understand what is this subject all about. Uh, Thinking that you all don't have much knowledge about this subject, on that basis, I will present my this particular presentation on commercial banking. So let me introduce myself. You probably know that I'm Srikanth, attached to at National Bank. I'm doing this commercial banking subject in this institution for some time. When you look at the commercial banking subject itself, you could see this subject, commercial banking, mean you need to put little efforts to know everything comes under the purview of commercial banking. It could be deposits, it could be loans, it could be delivery channel. Everything comes under commercial banking. So if you want to concentrate on this subject to get through good results, you need not to do in-depth analysis of all these areas, but you should know extensive wider area of what are the things falls under the commercial banking. It could be deposits, it could be all those loans that comes, it could be all those delivery channels, all those restriction placed on commercial bank by the regulator, you call central bank. So there are so many things comes under the subject curriculum. So let's start the evolution of banking. So what is, if you look at the banking have been evolved over a period of time. So we have evidence about before Christ, 2000 years before Christ. You know, this calendar, the Julian calendar, is structured according to the birth of Jesus Christ. So it calls BC stand for before Christ, AD stand for Anno Domini. So that is after the birth of. So if we look at the trace the evolution bankings, how the bank have been evolved in successive years, we could see the evidence about 2000 years ago before Christ. That means if you look at currently, we are talking about before Christ 2000. Now we are in 2020 almost. We are talking about 4000 years ago, how this banking was introduced to the universe. So over a period of time, how people realize why the banking is so important. So banking and the money go hand in hand. Of course, the banking has realized much earlier than the money. So when I say banking, what do you understand by banking? So if anybody wants to keep their ardent savings, keep it in a more secure place, that's, you remember, it's called bank. So bank where people want to safe keep their earnings or assets or whatever the value, you want to keep it in a safer place, then you attempt to think that is a place called bank. So this was realized in an environment where the people very uncivilized, about when you're talking about 2000 before Christ, about 4000 years ago, people have different environment. They were existed. I mean, let's assume that there are cultivation. So the harvest of cultivation could be grain. So that is their earnings. That is what they have to go and exchange with somebody. You call it as a barter economy. In a barter economy where goods or services one person has, he will go and exchange with the other person to obtain whatever goods that he wants. So for take example, if A as a good, whatever a particular goods, he want to exchange with B, then whatever the B has should be required by A. Simultaneously, the B also willing to share with A, provided B also wants the goods that A possesses. So that in that environment, barter economy was very successful. But it has practical difficulties too. So the people realize in a restricted wants and needs environment, uncivilized circumstances, people only confined to the basic need, where the barter economy was very successful. But over a period of time, people civilized, their thinking pattern developed. Then the confinement of basic needs getting expanded. They can't just happy with what do they have. So they are now, they are going into different era. So their wants and needs are increasing. They invent new things. They started writing. Then they realize this barter economy has a lot of practical issues, challenges. Then they would have realized during those periods, why can't we go for a common mode of exchange, common medium of exchange? Then everybody should accept that in order to exchange. So you also can see the difficulties in a barter economy. Let's assume that you have whatever savings in agricultural impediment, or if you have animals, that is your savings. In the barter economy, whatever goods that you possess is become your valuables. So in order for you to obtain other services, you need to carry this and go there and see whether the goods that you intended to exchange could be exchanged by giving whatever your extra valuable to the other person. So the needs and wants need to be tallied. It has to be coincide. If that doesn't happen, then the transaction is not possible. Then also you could see in a barter economy, the people who possess whatever they are extra, they need to keep it in a particular place. It's very costly. And they need to transport this whatever they are extra belongings to the other part, or whatever the area they are belongings to exchange. So there are a lot of difficulties. Then they were thinking, probably they would have thought, okay, we should go for something else to make this transaction happen more effectively. So the people thinking pattern has been keep on changing. So one thing is observed, the banking was realized much earlier. Why? So it was evidence that temple and palaces, you can see why the temple and palaces have been chosen by those people lived in those areas. It's a security. If you keep anything in the temple, it's very unlikely anybody can come and take it forcefully. It won't happen. In palace too, there are guards. The people feel their earnings should be kept in a place where those cannot be touched, or those cannot be taken by forcefully by anybody. So that is the thinking start behind the bank. So they want a place where their earnings should be kept safely, and later on they realize, oh, this place, the whatever earnings that I'm keeping, am I get some additional revenue, or am I get additional anything added to my valuables? Then only the interest start coming in there. So this is how the bank has been evolved over a period of time. So the people realized in a barter economy, confined environment, it was very successful, but subsequently when people civilized, they can't confine only to the basic need. They want to consume new things. When I say new things, they are talking about 4,000 years ago. So you can just imagine how those people, what things would have they consumed. what things have they invented. All this is, we need to pay bit attention. So in an environment of that nature, how these people have been evolved over a period of time. So there again, we are, if you look at the history of traditional banking, there are few things comes into our mind. That is, one of the things is called Babylonian concept. Babylonian is a place where you can find it newly. This place could be found in Iraq. It's part of the Iraq. It's called Babylonian concept. This Babylonian concept about 1800 before Christ, the Babylonian concept is one of the highly spoken concept where the people try to keep their savings, whatever the extra earnings, with somebody that they found a place called palaces and temple where those things can be kept safely. Then there had been other concept, other history talks about ancient Egypt, that is after. These all go in periodically. So before Christ, 1800 years ago, Babylonian widely spoken. Then the ancient Egypt thereafter. Then medieval city probably 1300 to 1400 years ago. That is after the birth of Christ. That is medieval mean the middle age of the banking history for some of the well-known cities in Italy. So if you look at the history, Italy played a key role. The bank, that word we are using, the origin is coming from banca. It's from Italian word. It's called bench. The bench is called banca. So that become in English version as bank, what we are currently using. The origin is banca. Then the London goldsmiths, that's after 1700, after 1700, 800 years ago, after the birth of Christ. Then the gold standard. Then the currently, whatever you and me are experience, the notes and currency notes and coins and notes coming in over there. So that is the version we are in. So, but you can think, now where are we focusing? Now this paper money in history, now year in after, whatever we use is going to do the digital currency. So you can see how the banking evolved over the period of 4000. Maybe other 100 years ago, 100 years after, maybe there would be other concept called electronic functions, or whatever the era that you and me living will be spoken after 100 years ago and different. These all comes as they evolved over a successive period, how the banking evolved, right? So let us look at 18th century, mean 1800 before Christ. That means now if you look at how many years, we are in 2020, you add the 1800 because it's before BC stands for before Christ. So we are in 2020 after Jesus' birth. That is called Anno Domini, AD. So we are in AD. This is B. So we are talking about here about 3800 years ago, the Babylonian concept. That's a temple which have been used, as I said, some political economic center. Shamas is a sunlight. They worship in a temple. It's become shamas. So that is considered as a place to keep their valuables. Then they have commodities of grain, oxen, sheep, other material, which they are earnings. So some of these items also used after the barter economy as a commodity money. What is commodity money? Certain commodities they are trying to use as a money. So if you look at the history, the commodity monies, say seashells, then they have used stones, then they have used salt, then an animal skin. The animal skin also have been used in some time. And tobacco leaves have been used. These are evidence. People have been different interval, different commodity has been used as a money, commodity money you call it. Then this Babylonian concept also talks about code of Hammurabi is you pronounce as a Hammurabi. It's a king of Babylonian, that's in part of the Babylonian history, is a king. Then he prepared certain codes how this transition need to be conducted. Based on religious, based on the political, there are certain ethics that need to be followed when you are doing transaction. Then they charge interest on these loans that they grant. Also, that is also during this period. So they realize there is an interest component involved. So when the goods are given in the form of a loan, there are people who are unable to pay those interest. Then you can see in the same era, those loans have been cancelled by probably a ruling would have been king's ruling, because the cancellation on a loan can come when there is a ruling of king. So when a new king come, probably those people would have been pleaded and got the loan cancelled away. So these are some of the history. Then you can also see that Egypt also spoken in the history of banking. This is also one of the well-known era. So as the certain countries have been highly spoken in the banking history. So one of them is Babylonian, and the Egypt also highly spoken. There you can have the grain harvest, whatever the grain that you have. So that is your place, that is your valuables. You go and try to keep it in a central warehouse place. Then you can see in ancient time, the writing skill had been developed. So now they started issuing written orders. That means the writing skill developed during this period, not in Babylonian concept. After subsequently ancient Egypt era, the people writing skill have been developed. So you can see how these things have been getting evolved and evolved. Then we can see medieval Italian city. This is where you can see 13th century AD. AD stands for Anno Domini. This is the birth of Anno Domini, is the birth of the Lord Jesus Christ. So the Julian calendars distinguish after the Jesus birth, it's Anno Domini. That now we are in 2020 AD. So after the birth of Christ is Jesus Christ, we are in 2020. So this is 2020. So in 1300 years, that means 13th century, mean after Jesus Christ's birth, 1300 is much modern time if you compare to the Babylonian, which is much before the birth, before Christ. AD is recent time. So you can see in 1300 years ago, that means 1300 years, Florence, Venice, Genoa, these are the highly famous cities. These cities are still in existence in Italy. And these cities were highly spoken in the history of banking, because there are a lot of merchants were flourished from these areas. And there is a Bardi. This is how you pronounce in Italy name. That's a very trading family, Bardi and Peruzzi. The Bardi and Peruzzi are the family, well-known family, doing trading in Italy. Then they are given loans to princes, merchants, because this period, lot of merchants are forming kind of institution where they have a huge building structured, and the people whoever want to keep their safekeeping can come and keep in a bigger. Those are colossal building. During this period, they have put up a lot of building. Unbelievable, about 1300 years ago, the building that have been structured in Italy still are in existence. If you happen to witness that, very nice place to visit, Italy. These buildings are still in existence, some of the buildings. Then you can see the Medici Bank. So the Medici Bank is the well-known, remembered in history. That is the Medici Bank is kind of a, they start as a money changer, then it's became a name of the bank. Then Giovanni Medici is the owner of, is the family, business family. Either one formed the Medici Bank. Then they started calculation interest method also during this period, 1300 period. But I just want you to take it down, where in this period, there was a bank. Banca, just write down if you have everybody else. Banca, B-A-N-C-A, Banca, M-O-N-T-E, Monte, D-E-I-D, Banca, Monte, then D-E-I-D, then the other word is called Paschi, P-A-S-C-H-I, Paschi, then D-I, again, D, then the last word Siena, S-I-E-N-A. So this Banca Monte di Paschi di Siena this is the oldest bank still in existence. So this formed in 1472. In 1472, this bank was formed, still in existence, more than 5.5 centuries almost. So you can just imagine the oldest bank still in existence. So this is the oldest bank, Banca Monte di Paschi di Siena. This is one of the Italian bank. Okay. Let's move to the London goldsmiths. This is 1700 years ago. We are talking about 200. We are in 20th century. Now we are coming to very close, 17th to 18th century. Where are the London goldsmiths? So you can see the countries that have been got involved. Highly spoken about, most of the European countries highly spoken during the medieval cities, Italian time. Before that, the Iraq, Iran, that Babylonian concept was Mesopotamia, Babylonian concept were highly spoken. Then in the simultaneously Asians also highly spoken about India, China. But when you take the history, you take only the key areas. Otherwise, you can talk the entire globe as different era. But the well popular banking concept has been developed by these routes. So that's what this I have picked up, whatever the key relevant to us. In 17th, 18th century, the London goldsmith played a key role. There the concept of banking was observed. So you can see during this period, there are certain precious metals were used. Bronze, silver, gold. Even these metals were used as a currency. Money. But of course, it's very valuable. These are precious stone, precious metal. These precious metal also used in the 17th, 18th. So you can see over a period of development, these new things were invented. And now they are coming to the level where everybody should try to keep either gold or a silver or bronze coin as a mode of exchange. This is how the gold coins was used in very recent, about 200 years ago. We have the record to see these gold coins were used. Those gold coins are still in that same form. Sometimes when you are buying gold, still the coin form is there. One sovereign or whatever you call it, that is coming from this history, gold coin. So that is in 17th to 18th century. Well, the interesting part, the banking concept has been developed in this period, 17th to 18th century. So you can see the goldsmith, where he has a place to keep this precious stones safely. So the goldsmith has the vault. During that period, goldsmith built a valuable, to keep valuable precious metal in a safe place. They built a vault, huge vault. So people, whoever have the gold, they can't build the vault to safekeep their valuables. Instead, they try to approach this goldsmith to keep their gold with him. Of course, the goldsmith started issuing a receipt. So say A go and keep something with the goldsmith will issue a receipt, simple receipt based on the gold deposited. That they might have a different color to verify the quantity, or maybe the size of whatever. They would have given a receipt in such a way. Each time the golds are deposited with the goldsmith by any individuals, the goldsmith started issuing a receipts. Now what happened? The goldsmith realized the gold that had been kept with him to safekeep, he issued the receipt. That receipt is started circulating as a money. So what would have happened? Let's assume A has gone and kept some gold with a goldsmith. The goldsmith has issued a receipt to A. Now instead of A, if A wants the gold, A has to go and give the receipt back and he can take the gold at any time. But what he does, since a goldsmith receipt is considered as one of the valuable receipt, that receipt is accepted by other people to exchange goods. As a result, whatever gold kept with goldsmith, those receipts are in circulation of money. Well, if I give you a simple example, let's assume A go and keep some gold with whatever the quantum gold with the goldsmith. Goldsmith issued a receipt. Now A has the receipt. A can go and do a transaction with a B and give that receipt. Now B knows if he take the receipt to the goldsmith, he can get the gold. So therefore B happy to do the transaction with A. Now the receipts are with B. The B go and do a transaction with C. So C knows this is valuable receipt. So as far as those receipts are not forgeable during that period, it is accepted as one of the mode of exchange. During this period, people start exchanging this. In the meantime, the goldsmith realized, this is where the banking concept developed, right? The goldsmith realized the gold kept by A is there in the vault without touched. Now, goldsmith, of course, they do this transaction. He keep this gold and issue a receipt. Of course, there is a fee. A has to give a fee. That safekeeping is not freely because they put up a vault. They would have spent a lot of money, but there is a rent need to be paid. So the A has to pay a rent separately in a small denomination of gold coins or whatever. Then the goldsmith will get the extra fee. But the main item that kept as a safekeeping, gold, is remained there. Then the goldsmith realized, why can't I make use of this gold? Give it to somebody and I can earn some money because this is not taken by the A. Because A started using that receipt to exchange with B, B go with C, and the gold is remained there. Then what happened? The goldsmith started lending this gold to somebody because the gold are in same form during that period. So that gold is given to other person called B in the form of a loan by the goldsmith. Now that B go and give the gold to somebody, and that somebody, let's say it has gone to C, and that C bring that gold back to the goldsmith and keeping as safekeeping. But you could see in this transaction, A is the origin of that particular gold coin that was kept and the receipt was issued. And the B who has come and taken a loan from the goldsmith, the same gold given to B. Of course, the B has to give a document, give a receipt or whatever. A is binding him that he is owing. He has to return back. So there will be different document given to B. The B is supposed to return the gold. So the goldsmith would have given some other document that B is liable to pay. In the meantime, B taken the gold, promising the goldsmith he will return the gold. He go and do a transaction with C and give the gold. And the C, who has possession of the gold, want to safekeep, he comes and give the same coin back to the goldsmith. Now, if you really realize, realize, goldsmith have only one gold, but he has given two receipts. He has given to A, that receipt is still in circulation. He has given the same gold coin in the form of a loan to B. B has given it to C, that C has come and kept as the same gold. Now, goldsmith has given two receipts, A and C. How come? This is where you can realize what is the underlying, if you see the screen, banking system created when the number of receipt was greater than the coin that's in the safe. Yes, this is how the fractional reserve banking concept. Fractional reserve meaning in the current banking, if somebody keep a money with a bank for interest in the form of a deposit, bank can use that money to earn interest, more interest, in order to pay the depositors, and the balance is their revenue. This concept has been developed in this goldsmith era, 1800 years ago. So we can now clearly understand the banking concept was developed during this period where the goldsmith started issuing receipt, realizing whatever the gold that had been kept, immediately not taken. So the same theory apply. If you really look at the banking, everybody go to the bank and deposit their money. But those money are not withdrawn by everybody at the same time. So the bank keep that money. all the deposits are substantial money with the bank. Those money, bank, of course, the people have the confidence to keep the money with the bank. Why? Bank will regulated by the particular body in that country. And the bank also promise the depositors they will pay interest. So that is the reason depositors have confidence, they go and keep the money with the bank. Now, depositors should be paid as promised interest. Now, how come bank can keep the money and paying interest? It's not possible. So what bank started? Bank started using that money, giving it to some people in a higher interest rate in the form of a lending, then get that interest and pay the depositors. Definitely, they would have promised the depositors at a lower interest rate. So you can see when you are depositing money, what does the interest bank pay? When you are borrowing from the bank, what is the interest bank charge? You can see the difference, of course, right? The currently, if you take 7, 8% or 9% for a FD, 3.5 to 4% for a savings account. So this is the interest pay for the deposit. But if you go for a loan, the loan interest must be 12 to 13. This is the range the interest goes up, right? So you can see the difference. The interest pay 4 to 5 and the loan for 11 to 12%. So this is the difference between the interest. This is how the interest income revenue comes as a revenue stream for the commercial bank. So this concept developed during this era, right? So from here onwards, the money that what we are now currently everybody using concept was developed from the gold coin. The money that you and me, everybody currently using, this is how the origin of money surfaced in the history. So the need for money, everybody. So of course that the barter economy was there, but barter system was there. It was not very successful. Then they realized the medium of exchange should be there. Then the medium of exchange was found in the form of a money. So from here, we are going to look at what is the functions the money does. Of course, the money, you and me know, if you want to do a transaction, the money acts as a medium of exchange. So if you want to buy a goods, you go and purchase a goods. In return, you pay the medium of exchange, that which is money. You pay money. So the money is used as a medium of exchange for the transaction. So that is where the money is the main function of the money is function as the medium of exchange. Not only that, the unit of account. For you to do the account, the money value is considered as a unit of accounts. So if you take example in a barter economy, if you say, what is your asset possessed? You say, I have 2 cows. I have 1 gunny of rice. I have 2 bunch of vegetable. These are my assets. So I don't have a uniformity to mention my assets because I have holding different commodity. So all my assets I will tell in terms of each commodity. This is my asset. It's very cumbersome. But now you can see with the introduction of the money comes as a mode of exchange. Now easily you can say my wealth is 1 million. My wealth is 5 million. So you are telling your entire valuable in monetary terms. That is unit of accounts. So you do your accounting, you say, we made a profit so much, or your total assets value, you can simply say, that is the fraction, that is the valuable. The valuable can be explained in terms of unit. That is the function of money. Of course, store of value. So you can say, I saved 500,000, I saved so much of money. So that is the store of value. So these special features were not in the barter economy. That is the reason they want to go for a common mode of exchange, for which they experience different commodity of money. That had some issues. Then they come and printed money, which is a particular piece of paper or coin for that matter. But we could see what are the attributions of money. The standard of deferred payment. Yeah, just think in a barter economy or in an old age, a credit transaction. You buy something and you promise the guy, I will pay you later, may not possible because you have to give the goods. So if you give the goods, they don't know how to calculate the interest earlier. Now what happens? The credit transaction may not possible in a barter economy or in an old age banking concept. But here you can, with the calculation of interest, deferred payment is possible. That means deferred payment means you are giving somebody goods, but that guy is going to pay you later. Is deferring, you are deferring the payment. So the transaction is taking place now. The settlement will do subsequently. That is possible because you will be charging either interest or you will be getting some revenue for the compensation period, for the credit period that you offer to the counterparty. So that is the function of money. Attribution of the money, yeah. Acceptability, yes, everybody. So you know, if you that's a tender. Tender mean the currency of any country within that geographical area. Each currency is acceptable because it has the acceptability is issued by the government now. So everybody should accept whatever the legal tender. So if legal tender here is in rupees. So if you give 1,000 rupees note, everybody will accept. That is the attribution of money. Yeah, uniformity. Yes, each currency has uniformity. Same, 1,000 rupees, all are same. So you can, on the face of it, you can easily identify this is 1,000 rupees, this is 500. There is a uniformity maintained in each currency notes, right? Stability of value. This is where the tough challenge for the regulator, central bank. Stability of the value, that means the purchasing power of each currency, each rupee is stability. So that is where the inflation coming in, the stability of value give a lot of pressure to the regulator to keep the stability of the value at the same level. It's very difficult. Let me explain to you. But for the moment, stability of value means the value of the currency should remain. But unfortunately, our currency value is depreciating. Value is coming down. So that means purchasing power of a rupee is coming down, right? I will explain to you in detail. Divisibility, yes. In a barter economy, divisibility is not possible. Say example, if you have a cow, that is your commodity, that is your barter economy, that is your valuables. So you want to do a transaction with a guy to get some rice, then you need to give the entire cow to him to get a rice, but you don't want so much of, you want something else also with the same cow. You are unable to exchange because there's no divisibility is possible. But in money, if you have 5,000, you want to pay for 2,500, yes, you can pay. You can. There are different denomination available in money. You can divide and pay whatever you want. So that is possible. Then the durability, yes, whatever the money that are printed should have the durability. The durability, when I say the usage of the paper used for those money should be in existence for some time. Just to give you some example here, in Sri Lanka, maybe about 20 years ago or 25 years ago, during that period, Sri Lanka introduced a note called 200 rupee note. That currency is almost similar to the Australian currency. That is in oily paper. That the currency was printed in oily paper. Unfortunately, when that 200 note was in circulation, that was for a shorter period. That was in circulation. The note that had been used started getting damage. That doesn't have the durability. When you fold it, it's getting torn. So that particular material used for this 200 note didn't have the durability. So what central bank removed that 200 immediately because each currency note should have the durability. If the currency has been circulated among the people, it's hand in hand, it goes there. It should have some validity period, maybe 10 to 15 years. The same currency note has to be in circulation. If that particular attribution is not there, then it's not considered as a money. So that is durability. The note should be in usage among the people for some period. Portability is very important. In a barter economy, portability is very expensive. You have to transmit it. If you have goods saved as your money, you need to transport, you need to have a place to keep them safe, and then take it to some market or wherever other places to exchange. But here, portability is with you. You can easily carry any money with you. So that is other attribution. So these are some of the attribution. These attributions of the form, whatever the shortcoming that was experienced in the different economy. In a barter economy, in ancient time, all those difficulties have been addressed now. So now you can see where we are deviating and going. Even we feel the portability is too much. We should not carry currency notes in the wallet. So this is the thinking. This is the thinking of human. We are at the highest level now. We are using most of the technology, so we don't want to carry everything trying to do in a plastic card. So we are moving towards to plastic cards or ATM or debit card, whatever you may call it, or electronic banking. All we wanted is just a digital money. So we are moving away from this concept, right? That also will be in history, right? So that is supported of the attribution of the money. Now we're coming to the main area, structure of the financial system in Sri Lanka. Okay, so in any given financial system in any country, the top one, the apex, is central bank. Yes, they are the peak, they are the top organization, the sovereign. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka comes in the top. So when I say Central Bank of Sri Lanka, remember in our central bank is called as Central Bank of Sri Lanka. But you don't need to have every country should call their central bank, say Central Bank of America, Central Bank. No, that is not required. Their banking can be different name, but that is considered as their central bank. Now, if you take USA, Federal Reserve is their central bank. Reserve Bank of India, RBI, is the Indian central bank. State Bank of Pakistan is the Pakistan central bank. So you can see different names are given for different. So in Sri Lanka, our central bank identified as CBSL. CBSL, Central Bank of Sri Lanka. This is our central bank name. And we have licensed commercial bank where you and me are working, most of you working in a commercial bank, where we are fit onto this LCB, licensed commercial bank. You have licensed specialized bank like savings bank, mortgage bank. These are particular purposes. Some development bank, citizen development, all coming under licensed specialized bank. Then you have licensed finance company. You have specialized leasing company. Then you have primary dealers. They are treasury bill, treasury bond they're dealing. There's a pension fund, provident fund that also need to be maintained by a particular regulator. That also comes under the purview of central bank. Then you have insurance companies. You have rural banks, stockbrokers, securities market intermediaries. There are other firms who are dealing in various debt securities, credits. Then you have unit trust. So these all comes under the financial structuring system of Sri Lanka. So if you take the entire financial system of any country, the apex is, the top is central bank. Under the central banks, all the banks are listed under that. Not only that, there are other organizations. All those organizations I referred doesn't come under the purview of central bank. This is the entire financial system. The financial system is generally mostly handled by the banking community. So when I say commercial, specialized, leasing company, all that comes under the purview of central bank. So if you look at the entire financial system, about 80 to 90% is the banking sector, which comes under the purview of central bank. So you can say entities falling under regulatory purview of central bank. So this is the main focus. The central bank and all the licensed banks, including specialized commercial bank put together. Then you have finance company, which is the issue in Sri Lanka. You could say financing company, some of the financing company are not doing well in Sri Lanka. If you take the history, there are a lot of failures that again monitored by coming under the purview of central bank. Then you have registered leasing establishment, leasing company, LLC, all these are coming under there. Leasing microfinance companies there. Primary dealers of government security, treasury bill, treasury bond dealers are there. Then authorized dealers of foreign exchanges, there are certain money changes are there. Authorized dealers of foreign exchange, this is again part of commercial banks, also considered as authorized dealer. And there are certain money change also there. There are money brokers also there. So these all comes under the purview of central bank. There are other organizations comes under the purview of, there are two bodies. Security Exchange Commission, that is all the public quoted companies are monitored by them, including all those private company, unit trust, credit rating agencies, all the company security. Whoever the public quoted company, even a bank become a public quoted company, are certain terms and conditions is governed by Security Exchange Commission. So if you are a bank, your majority of your monitor your monitoring authority will be central bank. But there are certain transactions, there are certain activities of the public quoted company. Of course, all the banks are public quoted company. So we are being not only monitored by our main regulator, central bank, no doubt, but we are also subject to Security Exchange Commission. Why? All banks are registered as a public quoted company. All the public quoted companies in Sri Lanka are monitored by Security Exchange Commission, because public quoted money means you collect your capital by issuing shares. All the banks are public quoted company in Sri Lanka. How do they collect the money? There are shareholders, and general public too buy the shares of the bank. So the bank collect their capital by issuing shares. The moment when you issuing and buying, when you are issuing shares and collect your capital, that particular attribution given only to the public quoted company. Private company cannot collect money from the people. They can't sell shares to the public. The private company has to the own family. You have to collect your capital within the owners. Maybe this is a group of families formed company. That is private company. So all the banks are public quoted company. Therefore, all the banks are coming under the purview of Security Exchange Commission. And also there is a separate body, IBSL. I think this is similar to the institution that you are doing this exam. This is also called IBSL, Institute of Bank of Sri Lanka. But here, Insurance Board of Sri Lanka. This is IBSL. This is the governing body of all the insurance company, brokers, insurance agent, all are coming under the purview of IBSL, Insurance Board of Sri Lanka. So there are three regulators in simple. Insurance companies are monitored by IBSL, and all the public quoted companies, stockbrokers, unit trusts, everybody comes under the purview of Security Exchange Commission. There are certain organizations, well, let's read them. These comes under the purview of central bank. So we are coming under, as a commercial bank, we must focus, our main regulator is central bank. So we are on the top. So we should know, okay, what about our regulator? We are commercial bank. We are being regulated by the central bank. So we should know about central bank. What is their expectation? How do they form? So we are going to see some of the key elements of the central bank. The central bank in Sri Lanka formed in 1949. You could say this is after the independence. Established under the Monetary Law Act. Yes, there is a Monetary Law Act in the country. This central bank has been formed by the Monetary Law Act. It is the monetary authority of the country. So monetary means issuing money, controlling money, everything in monetary. Monetary terms is money, all this banking, everything controlled by central bank. Right? So they have been established under the law of the country, Monetary Law Act. So this is a very powerful organization in the country, because they have been authorized to monitor the entire monetary system of the country, financial system. So this is the administration regulator of monetary system of the entire country. There are two core objectives, very, very important. Two core objectives of the central bank: economic stability or price stability. This is one of the key focus. Then the financial system stability. When I say financial system stability, the entire financial system in Sri Lanka, the financial institution, financial market, financial infrastructure, all should be sound. Then only the people have the confidence to go and deposit money with the bank. So now see, every general public has no hesitation to go and do the deposit in the commercial bank. Of course, they will rethink. There are some finance company, because we have some bad experience in the country. Most of the finance company didn't do well, except few. So you can see every different type of interval, we could see failure of finance company was evident. What is the latest affected company? The finance company. You know, it's formed in 1940. How many years? About 8 years. It's now unable to repay the depositors. The finance company. That's one of the oldest. 1940 it's formed. But again, in May last month, it had been declared they can't operate because their debts, their outstanding debt is more than the deposits. So that's kind of a bankruptcy. Bankruptcy means whatever you have is not enough to pay the outside liability. then you are a bankrupt person. So that has come to that level. The money that they have, they are unable to repay the depositors because the depositors' liability is more than the money they possess. That means the money has been not properly utilized. So that was the failure. So when the finance company offer high interest rate, that is where the mistake is. In order to attract people deposit, they offer high interest rate. But sometimes what happens when the market rate fluctuates, they are unable to sustain to offer the same rate. In order to attract, they offer a same rate. Take example, if the bank offer 7 to 8% for FD, the finance company already offered 11 to 12%. This is something extraordinary. How come the finance company can offer 11%? The people also should think. They also should be mindful. When a bank offer 8%, 9%, how come a finance company offer 11%, 12%? Very substantial interest. Whether they can sustain on a long term, that is where the question mark. They can pay. When the interest rates comes down, they already promised to pay you 11%. Some of the deposit you keep it with the finance companies are fixed deposits, 2, 3, 4 years. They also wanted your money to keep with them. They offer you the high interest, but they are unable to pay your interest. Why? They have to earn more using that money to lend it to somebody at a very high rate. So you can see the difficulties they will face on a long term. The finance company, of course, they were very successful in operating in this country, but due to there could be a point where when the interest rate is escalating and whatever the interest rate they promise to the depositors may not be possible at given time. But you can see in Sri Lanka, if you take the history of all the commercial banks, there is hardly no failures. There's hardly, other than one bad incident that of course government rectified, there is no other evidence of failure. All the commercial banks were well monitored by the central bank. So all those commercial banks are successful. Now people don't have any fear to deposit their money with a commercial bank. The failure of commercial banks is chances are remote, absolutely no evidence, except one incident where people tried to lost their confidence, but central bank intervened and that was rectified some time ago. So that is the only incident. Other than that, in Sri Lanka, commercial banks are well monitored. So the people have the confidence. That is because the regulator. So the regulator is tightly monitoring these financial organizations. That is what the main two focus of the central bank: maintain the economy and price stability, have the financial system in Sri Lanka stable. So that all the organization, all the people, investors, foreign investors, all the Sri Lankans have the confidence in the financial system. So you have now see during the lockdown period, most of the people started using this electronic method. Why? Our financial system, central bank, has prepared the structure where you can do through the online, you are doing transaction. Why? That is comes under the financial system. Infrastructure was already in place. All the banks were connected in one platform. So you were in a position to do the transaction from home. Since all the banks were connected to one platform, you can do a fund transfer through your electronic banking. That was possible. Why? The financial system stability is well managed in Sri Lanka. So we need to be very proud the good work done by central bank when it comes to monitoring commercial bank and the financial system stability at a very high level. Our maintenance of financial stability in this country is very high level. We are proud. The latest innovations have been introduced by central bank. You call Lanka Clear. It is a part of central bank. They do a lot of innovation product. And one of the latest innovation is all the banks were connected in one platform. That is, you call Common Electronic Fund Transfer Switch. You call it CEFT, CEFTS, Common Electronic Fund Transfer Switch. The CEFT is the latest technology. It is one of the best technology. All the banks were connected in one platform. Simply, if you have electronic banking with your bank, let's say you have an account in Bank of Ceylon, you simply log into your internet banking, do the transaction to wherever the beneficiary, whichever the bank. Is simple. So that make your life easier. That is because the central bank having this financial system infrastructure maintained at a higher standard level. Then the monetary board is in charge of the central bank. So the monetary board consists of 5 members. The top person is the governor, central bank governor. The central bank governor and the secretary to the Ministry of Finance, and there are 3 non-executive members. So comprised of 5 people. So the monetary board comprised of 5 people: governor, secretary to the finance ministry, and the 3 non-executive directors. The governor and the 3 non-executive directors were appointed by the president of the country. So you can see that was given. The governor and the 3 non-executive directors are approved by the president of the country, or appointed by. So the governor of the central bank is the chairman of the monetary board. So you can see governor doing a dual role here. Governor is the CEO of central bank. Every institution has a CEO. So in central bank, he is the governor. So he is a governor, cum chief executive officer in central bank. There is a monetary board which it comes under the purview of central bank. The monetary board is the one given the license to settle. In that monetary board, he is the chairman. So you can see the governor doing a dual role. He is the CEO of central bank and is also chairman of the monetary board. So the monetary board consists of 5 people: the governor and the ministry, secretary to the Ministry of Finance, and 3 non-executive members. These 3 non-executive members are appointed by the president, including the governor. So the ministry, the secretary of ministry anyway is coming under the purview of Ministry of Finance. So the president recommend these appointment of these 4 people with the recommendation of finance ministry. So you can see banking sector comes under the purview of Ministry of Finance. So it's a finance organization. So you can see how the monetary board structure. There are 5 people: governor and the secretary to the Ministry of Finance, plus 3 independent non-executive members comprised of the monetary board. So you can see the core function. So that is the CBSL. CBSL formed in 1949 under the Monetary Law Act. You know, it's governed by the monetary board. And what are the core function of the objective? You know, 2 core objectives: price stability, economic stability together, and the financial system stability. So the objective of central banks to ensure in this country all the financial system, we saw the structure, the financial system stability is well maintained. People have confidence over the bank. They can keep their deposit with the money with the bank. At any time they can take the money. There's no problem. So people have the confidence, and people started using the latest innovation introduced by the central bank under the financial system infrastructure, the payment system, online payment, everything, ATM, all those things are well monitored. So the financial system in this country is very sound. If you are in that environment, and they try to keep the stability of the currency. If you want to keep the stability of the currency, you should have a high standard financial system should be there for you to have the rupee or the economy stability is maintained. So if you have a vulnerable financial system, there is no way of achieving the economic stability. It's vulnerable, subject to, there are a lot of weaknesses. So that is where the central bank main focus. So they maintain a high level of financial stability. As a result, they're trying to maintain the stability of rupee, which is a difficult task because that is the economic stability. So the economic stability, we have certain fundamental issues which they try still. They are trying their level best to keep the economy also going parallelly with the external things that are beyond anybody's control. Still, we have challenges to keep the economy going. Right. Let us go through these core functions of central bank. They conduct monetary policy. Yes, they issue interest rate. They are the people monitoring exchange, foreign exchange. This is their role functions. So the foreign exchange, inflows of foreign exchange, outflow of foreign exchange are conducted by central bank because they issue the exchange rate of each currencies. You know, $1 is so much rupee. That is the exchange rate for each foreign currency is guided by the central bank because they This is their core function. Not only economy stability, not only the financial system, they have other core function. The monetary policy of the country, they do interest rate, they on a regular basis, they review the interest rate and they offer an interest rate. So, and exchange rate also, they comes under the purview of them. Management of official international reserves. Yes, official international reserves is our foreign reserves. So what do you mean foreign reserves? Each and every country will have a foreign reserves. Say when you exports, where do you get our revenue coming from? Foreign exchange. When you do exports, goods or services you export, you get foreign exchange. And a lot of Sri Lankan who are working in Middle East sends their money, foreign exchange. A lot of tourists coming into Sri Lanka, they bring foreign exchange when they are coming to Sri Lanka. So these are the main sources that we are getting foreign exchange into the country. In the simultaneously, you know the outward, whatever the foreign exchange we earn, there is a foreign exchange going out of the country. We are importing. We are importing goods. We are consuming foreign services. Then we need to pay them. So there is a export income and simultaneously import expenditure. So that is where whatever reserves that if you want to build up, our earnings of foreign exchange revenue should be lesser than the expenses. But it's always the other way. Our expenses are double. Our import expenses are double the income what we earn. So our in net figure, we always have a minus that we are. So let's take example, if our income is $60 billion, just say $150 million, for example, $150 million is our export income. $150 million export income. Import expenditure 300 million, almost double, or 280 million. So what is the net position? 130 minus, 150, 280, 130 minus. Because our expenses is more than what the earning. So our foreign reserves, by every year when you do more imports, our foreign reserve getting eroded, getting reduced. So in order to build a foreign reserve, you need to have revenue generation increase. So currently you can see the issue currently, all the stream where I have said the income coming into the flow have been stopped. No foreigners coming into the country. The Middle East, the earnings that our people are there now due to this ongoing this virus issue, that also being curtailed. Most of the people are now EINs. They have been brought back to Sri Lanka. So the revenue generation from the worker remittance also affected. And our exports also, tea, rubber, other than the essential, the garment, other export also, we don't know whether those exports will now take place with the restriction in other countries. So we are mostly affected. Our revenue is mostly affected. That is the reason you could see in recent time, last week or two, you can see import control and central bank bringing a lot of restriction. Why? If you don't have an export income, how do you go? Your import need to be reduced. Otherwise, we don't have any foreign reserve to meet this commitment. Other than the essential good, all other things are temporarily suspended. So you can see the new changes, the import control department and the central bank join together, given some direction to the bank. Okay, these items cannot be imported. So you can see last week they are given a list of items. You can't import temporarily, suspended. And the vehicle you can't import at the moment. Other than the tractors and ambulance, no vehicle can be imported now for next 2 to 3 months. So you can't import vehicle. Those are luxuries. So they feel the vehicle already imported is enough for the consumption. You need not to bring. All the luxury goods have been stopped. Only medical, crude oil, other essential commodity will be given. And also whatever the export, when you do, you want some input, say garments factory, you want the fabric to be imported, that will be allowed. Because that is that commodity used as a value addition for your exports. So those import will be allowed. Other than that, all the import have been reduced. So that is the stance taken by. That is the function of central bank. Now you can see they are doing their function. This is the time. This is how you can see really all what we have given here. You can presently, you can see all you're experiencing these difficulties going. Everybody, I mean, if this is high time, you can see all what we are studying is practically happening. You can see there are a lot of revenue stream have been stopped. Then we have import that time in government bringing restriction. If you read the paper, if you go through the internet and put all the restriction or Google it and see where the restrictions are, because we are mostly imported dependent country. So we don't have export income. In order to pay, then we need to reduce our import. So that is the reason government has taken a prudent step to reduce all the import which are considered as a non-essential item. Vehicle considered as a non-essential item. So that is in order to protect the foreign reserves, right? Yeah, they are the people supervising banks and license. They give the license to each banks to open and they monitor. So there is a department called Bank Supervision Department in Central Bank. They monitor the central bank. They are doing a good job. That is the reason all the banks have been well monitored, and there is hardly any failure in commercial banking in Sri Lanka. So that is because they are doing a great job. Bank Supervision Department. They continually monitor the operation of the banks. Provision of settlement of facility. Yeah, the payment system, which I was just telling you, SWIFT is part of the central bank. There's a payment settlement system also comes under the purview of central bank. So they do this core function. Not only that, they issue the currency notes. Yes, where the distribution of national currency, they print the currency notes and issue it, right? So these currency notes are issued based on our foreign reserves. If we have a foreign reserve plus, based on that, the currency notes will be issued. So in order for us to have enough money to issue to the economy, our economy activity should be positive. So we should have more income earned than export, then only we have foreign reserve. So based on the foreign reserve, only the money can be printed. So the foreign reserves direct impact with the issuance of new notes, right? Compilation and dissemination of economy. Yeah, you can get all the data, they collect all the data, they compile all the data and then distribute to the various in the form of annual report of central bank. They are press release, they are published, all those articles. You can go and read this. They collect all the data and then give what is where our exports are earnings, where our local productions are, which field, which agricultural center, government sector, all the statistics are collected in the central bank website, and the annual reports are released every year. You can go and see those reports with the detail. All those industry-wise, they are given all the comparisons. So that is the dissemination, circulation of statistics. Acting as a banker and the financial advisor to the government. Yes, obviously, the central bank is the advisor of the government. So they give their major, when the government wanted a budget to be prepared, you know what is budget? Yeah, every country will prepare a budget for their forecasting year, what is the total income we are going to have, what is the expenditure. So where if there is a expenditure is more, you call it as a deficit, your income is not supposed to pay your expenses, then you have a amount that is called deficit. So if say the total income, the government forecasting is $100 billion, right? Total expenses $100 billion, but the revenue is only 80 billion. So where is the 20 billion we need to collect? For that 20 billion, they forecast, this is how you should escalate that 20 billion. They already know that 80 billion revenue stream, provided that works as per plan, as per budgeted. But there is a deficit almost on the face of it, 100 billion expenses, 80 billion revenue. There's a 20 billion short. So to collect the 20 billion, only the new proposal coming in each budget. This is how we are going to increase our fee. This is how those incremental values are given in the budget in order to cover that deficit 20. So that is the reason budget. So when budget is prepared by the government, the central bank is the main person giving all those advice. This is how you should be structured. So they are the really supportive. Those dissemination, all those statistics collected are given to the government to formalize the budget. So that is their major contribution. In addition, they do agency function. So in addition, they have been. So you can just imagine, though the central bank loaded with all this work, in addition, they do this work as well. That is the reason central bank is one of the powerful organizations. Management of public debt. When the government wants the money, this is the government bank. That's what you call, they're the banker to the government. When the government wants money from the general public, they go and issue treasury bill and treasury bond. That is, you call management of public debt. That means they're collecting money from public. The public want to invest in treasury bill, treasury bond. The management of public debt department in central bank, they issue the treasury bill and treasury bond. So that also done by central bank. So central bank, when they want money, they issue treasury bill and treasury bond and collect the money from the people. So that means they are borrowing from general public. So that function also done by central bank. Foreign exchange management, yes, as I told you, inflows and outflow of foreign exchange management also done by central bank. So they are the one will come to the market and say how much dollar coming into the account, how much dollar going through the banking channel, how much foreign reserve we have. That is the foreign exchange management. So you can see, if you're working in a bank, you would have by now evidence that a lot of foreign currency account can be opened by individual foreign entities and the local entity who earn foreign exchange. And when people migration, when they are supposed to open certain account, all this comes under the foreign exchange management. All these accounts and those import, export related transaction, all are formulated by the central bank as a foreign exchange management. Fund management and acting as a custodian for employee provident fund. What is employee? You can call it as EPF, employee provident fund. Let me stop and explain to you. If you are working in an organization, right? If you are working in a company or if you are working in a bank, from your salary, you could see there is a certain percentage deducted. From your salary, there is a certain percentage deducted. Any idea what is the percentage? Generally, 8%. 8% from your salary. Let's say if your salary is 30,000, so 2,400 is deducted from your salary. 8% up to 30,000 is 2,400. Then, when you are getting a salary, 30,000 minus this 2,400, and the net is paid to you. So they are deducting 8% from your salary as an employee provident fund. There is a fund open when you're working in when you start working. There is a fund originated from the day one you join the institution. It can be bank, it can be any public board, whatever the entity, right? So you're from your salary, there's 8% deducted, and the employer whom you are working for, the company owner or the bank management, will have to give 12% of your salary. That means 12% of your, that is comes to 3,600. So 3,600, you 20% of your salary is 6,000 going to your account. If you are drawing 30,000 rupee salary, 20%, that means 8% from you, the employer contributes 12%, altogether 20% of your salary is set aside. Every month that money is going. You can just imagine if all the companies here, all the bank, even including any shop, if you are working as a permanent employee, the employer has to contribute 12% and he has to deduct 8% from your salary and put together, and the money is sent to central bank. That is where the EPF is managed by central bank. So you can see it's a huge billions of money. Everybody, just imagine people who are working here, everybody pays 8% of your salary and the employer pays 12% from your salary, put together 20%. So 20% of your salary is a substantial amount. So each and every employee, 20% salary is collected as a fund. The fund is managed by central bank because they are the custodian. Custodian means you are looking after the fund. That's a huge fund. So that fund is invested in treasury bill, invested in shares, whatever, and the return, whatever interest also will be added to your fund. So every year you are 20% going. The end of the year, you will, whatever the amounts lying in your fund will be attracted by interest. So it will be added for certain interest also added. Why? Your money going to be there for next. You say you are joining in the bank at the age of 22. You're going to work for 55 to 60 years in the bank. Next 32 years, so whatever age. That next 32 years, your money need to be built up, huge sum. It is not only your contribution, that your contribution collected, and every year that money is invested by the central bank, because central bank is the custodian of your fund. They invest in treasury bill, invest in shares, collect all the returns, the dividend and interest, and that is distributed among the members of the EPF fund, and you will also entitled for a certain income. That amount also will be added. Next year, the total amount will be invested. So every year you could see your EPF's accumulated fund will be increasing substantially. And by the time of retirement, you will have a sufficient fund for you to live with it. That is what you call EPF, Employee Provident Fund. There's something called ETF, Employee Trust Fund. No contribution from the employee, only employer will pay 3%. Most of the bank and bigger company pays for ETF, Employee Trust Fund. That is 3%. So all the banks and the bigger public quoted company, some of the company pay, not real mandatory for others. EPF is mandatory for everybody. Even if you're working in a small shop, that person, that employer who recruited you has to pay the EPF. It is mandatory. So that is, the fund is managed by central bank. Yes, the financial intelligence unit, you call it FIU. In the central bank, there's a unit called FIU, Financial Intelligence Unit. Those people are there to prevent the money laundering and terrorist financing. So sometimes this word may be not familiar to you. Maybe first time some of you may hear it. Money laundering. What do you understand by it? And the terrorist financing. So you know this banking channel where the funds are coming all over the place, where the money has to come through the banking channel. So if the money is coming to anybody or any organization in Sri Lanka, that the particular remitter who sends the money to Sri Lanka need to be a legitimate transaction. So here what happens, the banking channels are used by the terrorists, bring the unethical money. So money laundering is that money has been sourced from unethical activities. Maybe some kidnapping, maybe some hijacked money, or maybe some drug selling money or weapons. So these money, you sell some drugs and those money come into Sri Lanka. And that comes disguised, money doesn't come as a drug money, that comes from suddenly to somebody's business account, all of a sudden 1 million rupee comes. Now, as far as you know, the banking systems are now almost electronically, all monies are going through process, these processes are electronic process, the money is just coming electronically and hitting an account, nobody watches. But the banks have been expected to carefully go through each and every transaction to see if this money is a legitimate money. That is where there is a unit formed in central bank in 2005, 4-5 during that period, FIU, Financial Intelligence Units. These units looking after they give the direction to the bank and make sure these monies are not laundered money. Money laundering is the money earned from unethical activities. Those are you call black money. Those black money should not be allowed to come and added with a clean money. In banking channel, you and me, all these transactions are clean money because we pay taxes, all are clean money. But what happens if the banking channel is volatile, not very strict? All this money can coming into the banking. So in other words, all the dirt money, you call it dirt money, achieved through unethical activities, now channeled through the legal channel through the bank. Once it is coming to the legal channel, it's become a legal money. But it's disguised its origin. It's unethical activities. But now got into the banking system. This has to be stopped. So before you credit the money, there should be query. Before you open the account, you are expected to do some KYC. Some of you might heard the word KYC stand for Know Your Customer. KYC stand for Know Your Customer. KYC. So know your customers. That is where when you open an account, now banks are asking all your questions. Why they asking all these questions? They should know why are you opening the account? What is your income pattern? What is the amount you are going to put? What is the income sources? Then you give everything. Then you know whenever transaction happen in the account, bank know this person's income, this is what his purpose, all that. All of a sudden, when 2-3 million rupees come into your account, then bank would ask you the question according to the KYC form you are given. Where is this money coming from all of a sudden? There can be genuine reason. There could be genuine reason where your brother sends money for you to do some renovation, for you to do some buy. As far as you can prove that has come from your brother, there is no problem. But if you're unable to establish the relationship between the person who sends the money to you, and there is no relationship, there can be institute registered here just to collect all terrorist funds coming from different countries. You just open the account. You can't do that because the bank is checking you now. When you're opening the account, what purpose you're opening the account? So you have been asked to fill a KYC form. So the KYC form, the statistic you given to open account should also tally with the operation. When there is exception, bank will query. So that is where it has to be. So you must make sure that whenever you open the account, why banks ask the KYC form? In order to avoid money laundering or terrorist financing. That means all unethical earned money should not coming into your account. You must prevent. So for that only. And the regional development. Of course, central bank, when you say regional, the central bank only confined to Colombo. They have to make sure the entire country is developed. So they will have a regional development also. They will have a regional office in different areas. Central bank do have 3 regional offices. They maintain entire country is well looked after. I have just missed facilitating financial inclusion. What do you mean by that? Facilitating financial inclusion. That means central bank also must make sure there are certain area unserved banking activities. There are certain area banks are not present there. So bank must ensure, central bank must ensure whenever commercial bank to want to put a branch, they have to get a permission from central bank. Say if a Union Bank or Pan Asia want to expand their network, when they go and approach central bank, we want to put a branch. Central bank might say, no, this area you go and put a branch. Because central bank feel through their regional office, that particular area people do not have a banking facility. So they want to include them into the banking. That is what you call facilitating financial inclusion. So unserved area people must coming to the banking channel. You have to take them into the banking channel. So that is where you call facilitating financial inclusion. You are facilitating those people into the financial system, asking them to open an account through the banking. Then they are coming into your financial system. That is the inclusion. So you now know the wider prospect of the central bank functions. You can see a lot of functions that comes under the purview of central bank. So this is one of the price stability and economic stability is one of the co-objective of the central bank. Co-objective of the central bank. We saw 2 co-objectives. Price stability coupled with economic stability, one, then the financial system stability, which we have no doubt central bank being a real good role. The system, entire financial system stability right through maintained. The price stability is a challenge. It's because it's economic. It's coupled with economy. So this a lot of external factors are playing a key role here. Central bank can't do alone keep the price stability maintained because there are so many external factors directly or indirectly affecting the stability of the economy. Price stability safeguard the value of the currency. So value of the currency is the price stability. In simple words, you can see the second point, stable prices means low inflation. If the prices are stable, you call low inflation. When the prices are stable, you call low inflation. When the prices are volatile, when the prices are increasing, when the prices are going up most of the time, you say inflation. How do you simple term, how do you explain to the inflation? So if I say, give you example, say you take 1,000 rupees. You take 1,000 rupees. Go to a shop. You may go to Cargill's or Keel's or wherever. You buy particular 5 items, let's say fortnight or twice a month. You buy 1,000 rupees, or maybe some of the you buy 1,000 rupees for monthly requirement. Some creams or whatever you buy, 4 stuff you buy 1,000 rupees, right? You buy 4 stuff 1,000 rupees. After 3-4 months time, you take the same 1,000 rupees and now go to. So I am referring you bought same 4 stuff 4 months ago. Now you take the same 1,000 and now go to the Cargill's or Keel's, buy the 4 stuff. You are unable to buy the 4 stuff with the 1,000 rupees. Why? Prices of those 4 commodity have been slightly increased. Now you could see the purchasing power of this 1,000 is come down. You are unable to buy the same 4 goods now. What has happened? The general price level has gone up. When the general price level has gone up, your purchasing power of your 1,000 is now coming down. That is called inflation. In other words, if the general price level of commodity or services are increases, that is called inflation. In other words, you can say the purchasing power of the currency is not stable, is coming down, inflation. So central bank try to keep the stability. Central bank try to keep whether you can buy the 4 item every time. You make sure that prices level are stable. Unfortunately, in our country, that's not happening. We don't have price control mechanism. Because whatever the goods you buy, when you go 1 month's time, definitely they increase by 5 rupee or whatever. You don't have a stable price here. So that is the biggest challenge. Because the market forces decide the prices and the prices are escalating. So that is where the bigger challenge. You need to keep a stable price level. That is one of the co-objective of the central bank function. So if economy perform well when inflation is low, yes, everybody happy, the prices are not increasing, the economy doing very well, economic activities are taking place, right? But in that environment, if the interest rates are also low in these conditions, generally. So the interest rates coupled with inflation. So what happened? When the interest rate is going up, what will happen? When the interest rate is going up, people who want to borrow will not borrow because it's expensive to borrow. The interest rate is high. If the interest rate is low, what will happen? A lot of people borrowing. If the bank lending interest rate is dropped to 2%, most of the people go and borrow. But they have more money. As a result, they try to spend. When they start spending, the general price level will go up. Then what happens? The inflation will go up. So you should know the relationship. So you have to balance this relationship. When the interest rates increases, then the economic activity of the country will be curtailed. While people do not have money to borrow, it's very expensive. As a result, there's a tendency price levels to come down, the inflation to come down. So you should keep a price stability and inflation and the interest rate at the same level where all the segment at an appropriate level, that is you call stable economy, very stable, where all these segments are looked after. Where come to that point is very tough task, because the major factor here, why we are unable to keep this price stability, because we mostly import-oriented country. We need to import. Most of the item we need to import. What happened now? See the dollar price that has gone up. When we are importing, there is more demand for dollars. We need more dollars. When there is a demand for dollars, the prices of the rupee also comes down. So if you are purchasing $1 at the rate of 175, about 7 months ago, 175, 180 maximum before COVID, 180. During last 4-5 months, it had gone up, shot up to 190, 195. 195 it has gone up. Look at that, 170 to 195. 25 rupees within the matter of 6 months. It's a very, very high inflation. The rupee has depreciated heavily against dollar. For you to buy $1 under 75, you are paying 196 to buy $1 is huge difference within the short span of time. So where that is shows the weakening of rupees. So if we are importing oriented, so see, we are further affected. Why? The dollar also going increases price. But suppose say the other side of the coin. If the dollar is going up and if you are exported oriented country, see the income that you generate. Each exporter who is getting his export money for 175, if you are exporting oriented country, we will be getting each dollar 190 rupees. It will be a bonus for the exporters. So that is the reason we should be more towards the earning in foreign exchange. We have a benefit. But on the other side, we are mostly on import oriented. Even a food item, we are importing. Medical, importing. So even for some of the export commodity, whatever the value addition item we export, also mostly depending on the import items. So as a result, we are more depending on import. So our foreign exchange rate, our rupee also depreciate against dollar heavily. Then the economy, whatever we are in, try to keep this level is a bigger challenge. That is where we have to have our own production, own commodity produced here, manufactured here within the country. I think that is what the president trying to this COVID issues. During this COVID issue, we realized we trying to do cultivation or whatever, we are going back to the basic. If you have your own small plot of land and if you try to do something, that is where the life is. That is where your own produce can save you money. So why do you be importing that? So we have to, going forward, probably we may rethink with the curtailment of all the imports currently is on. We must think, we must confine to the basic requirement. That is something that we learn from this COVID issues. People learn from COVID issue. We might confine our requirement to the basic requirement. Extravaganza, lavishly, all those will be curtailed, definitely curtailed. You also could be say the institution you are working for also will put some restriction, because this is the environment we are working and we are mostly affected. All the revenue sources have been stopped, almost stopped. So we have to survive whatever we have. And we can't afford to, because we don't have a foreign reserve. If you have a foreign reserve like China, USA, you are in a position to spend a lot of money. But we don't have foreign reserves. Almost lesser foreign reserves, maybe 1 or 3 months requirement. Maybe maximum up to 6 months imports we can have foreign reserve. Nothing more than that. So if we have the only 6 months, next 6 months import requirement, only we have a foreign reserves, you can just imagine what will happen to our, if you don't have a earnings, foreign exchange earning coming into the country, we will be having very difficult time. So these times are called economy recession. You have a tight situation where people only will confine to the requirement. They don't go for extra. They don't go for any import item. So you can see the lifestyle has to be changed. This is a good lesson for everybody. The lifestyle needs to be changed. That will be, we can evidence that it's from your personal life, is going up to your organization, even organization to a community wise. Then the country wise, you could see people year in after will not go for a extra expenses, cut down the expenses, because they will know their income revenue also will be curtailment. Whatever you would have evidence, some of the banks, some of the public quoted company who got very affected, not the banks. Banks somehow other survived when they were operating, but some of the public quoted company, especially leisure sector, hotel sector, they don't have any income. They've been shut down. So where do you get the revenue? So those people need to be employed. So now most of the people lost their job. So you can see what happened to the USA. Totally unexpected. So this is, we are being a smaller country. USA somehow or other they come out because they have a lot of reserves. They will bounce back. But country like us, we need to go through a very tough time. So that is something that you need to keep that in mind. So low inflation, yes, very good. Price stability, foster sustainable long-term economic growth. This is where we should end up. If we have economic growth good, then there is no unemployment. So employment also excellent. So you will have a good employment. There's no problem, right? Financial system stability. So financial system stability is the stable financial system, creates favorable environment. Yeah, of course, you should, if you want to now see, if we are the next step, we are coming out is post-COVID, we are expecting a lot of foreigners to come and invest in our country. The first thing, we should have a financial system stable. Obviously, we have a good system in place because we have some electronic mechanism and the banking systems are well monitored. So that's your gear up. The financial system stability, we are geared up. So we are effective financial institution markets, all that is here. The fundamental, the infrastructure, financial system, well placed in Sri Lanka. We have online payment system, we have ATM, we have all those electronic banking channels are used by the people. During the lockdown period, we saw the banking activities taken place. Though the physical locations are closed, still banking transactions are taken place, and people gone into the extra mile to use electronic channel, delivery channel, and some banks introduced the latest buying way of different electronic platform. People started using that. Those are good signs. Those are very good signs. So that is where the system stability. So our financial system stability are at a very strong point. There's the central bank has done an excellent job to keep our financial system stability at a high level. Stable macro environment, yes, effective regulatory framework, they are monitoring, well monitoring, all the banks are well monitored by the central bank on a regular basis. Financial system, all the markets are monitored, They have been given direction. The regulators are going behind and checking. All that things are taking place. So unfortunately, we have some financial company, which is a non-banking sector, has been evident some failures. Other than that, if you look at the banking financial system, we are stable. Promote investment. Yes, we won't promote. We want foreigners to come and invest here. Because what happened when the foreigners come and bring money here, then when the investment comes here, then you can say economy activity taking place. Yeah. So the people will start earning. And not only that, a lot of people get employment opportunity. So the unemployment is addressed. Economy activities are boosting. People will have opportunity to sell and buy their goods. So more money to come, the country to prosper, there should be more direct investment. You call it FDI, foreign direct investment. FDI. Foreign direct investment is something that you expected that should be flowing into the country. If you want to attract more foreign direct investment, your financial system stability should be at a very high level. That is, we are ready. Sri Lanka, we are ready for this. Only thing is our price stability is where we have a bigger challenge. So that price stability will be addressed through this foreign direct investment comes, and most of our own products are manufactured within the country. So we need technology. It's a matter of we can produce all those material here. We need some technology. Though technology should be come from abroad. We don't have that much of technology. So for example, we export natural rubber to Japan. Japan manufacture those, put some value addition, send it in the form of a tire to us. We are buying tires. So we must manufacture our own tire. We have a Kalani tires. But people go for some better quality tires. So for us to manufacture better quality, we need technology. So that technology can come by way of a foreign direct investment. When the foreign direct investment comes, they invest here to manufacture a tire plant or vehicle plant. That is how our employment opportunity can be addressed, our price stability of the economy stability, all that is can be achieved when you have direct foreign investment flowing into the country. Then you should not have curtailment. You should not have this restriction. You should be free economy, those people to come in and invest it in different diversified investment opportunities that are available here. We have enough resources. It's a matter of putting things in a right place and need some foreign investment and technology flowing into the country. If everything fit on, we have enough resources to come back. Very positive. That is possible. It's a matter of clicking everything in the right places is something that is required. Role of central bank in maintaining financial system. Yeah, they promote the public confidence. Yes, everybody have no problem. Anybody comes and open account, you go to the bank and open an account. That confidence is already created. That platform is already in place. You don't have any doubt. Safety soundness of individual financial institutions are very good, other than the finance company. Non-banking only is not doing that great. But banking sector is excellent. Financial system and collaboration, yes, of course, all the regulation minimize the risk of financial system. Yes, when there's a failure reported, central bank supervision department go and digging into that, checking and see, make sure whenever the directions are issued, all the banks are complied to the direction. You could see recently when the SME sector got affected, small medium industry got affected, central bank given in the form of some financial assistance to them. You call it moratorium. What is moratorium? Moratorium means you give some concession to them because those SMEs or small medium industries have got affected during the lockdown period. They are whatever the businesses they are carrying in a small scale, the businesses closed down. Probably they were on a rented place. They are unable to pay the rent. They are unable to pay the salary. They would have borrowed money from the bank to do the businesses. They are unable to repay the loan. So during this difficult time, central bank has told the bankers, okay, you follow this, give the concession to them. Don't, if the loan is need to be paid, if they are not paid for 3-4 months, extend it for next 6 months. These are some concession given in the form of a moratorium. Capital repayment, interest repayment, all these are extended. So that some breathing space given to the SME sector to bounce back. That is what required. That is what required. So that was addressed. So that is what the central bank going through, when there's an economy going through the tough time, you know the economy activities are curtailed, now people are in difficult time. That is where the regulator comes in, give the breathing space, tell those people, because they are the backbone. SME is the backbone, small, medium industry is the backbone of the economy of Sri Lanka. About 60 to 70% of a GDP coming from that segment. If that segment is affected, then the entire country will be collapsing. Because those small, medium industry, you and me consuming most of the items from that segment, small and medium industry. All the bakeries, all the plant, all the textiles, so everything come under SME. You have a corporate bigger client like Dialog, McDonald's, all those are bigger players. But if you get the majority of them come under SME, small and medium industry. So these people should flourish. Then only the economy will take good turn. For us to do that, if during the problematic time, this segment is worstly affected. So you need to give them a support financially. That is what this direction. When these directions are given, central bank giving this direction to authorized dealers, commercial bank must make use of this and giving the benefit to the, if they don't give, they have been accused by the regulator. So that is where they monitor. They monitor, all the banks are doing their job. Whatever direction they are given, the bank has to follow it up and give the benefit to the customer. If the customer says this bank is not giving this benefit to me, he has all the right to go and complain. So that is where the stability. So now, if I am being given this, say I am a SME, I'm doing a small scale of business. My business got affected. So I am trying to rebuild my business. But what is the breathing space? The bank is coming right into me, my loan is serious. No, bank can't write because I know the central bank has given some concession to me. My loan can be repaid by after 1 year, not next 6 months. I have been given another 6 months to pay. My interest have been deferred. And there can be some concession given to me. My loan repayment period has been extended. So I have a breathing space. I need not to worry about now. I can concentrate on my business. I can start rebuild. So that facility should be given. So if that directions are given to authorized dealer, central bank must make sure these directions are, these benefits are ultimately given to the business owners. That is where the monitoring mechanism. Then acting as a lender to last resort. That means acting as a lender to last resort means if the bank is in a financial crisis, you would have seen some evidence in Europe countries, especially Greece. Most of the banks failed about 10 years ago, not 10 years, about 7, 8 years ago. Most of the banks failed in Greece. The central bank, European bank, comes and rescue them. So they pump some money and take them out in this. So that is you call acting as a lender of last resort. They are when a financial institution in real trouble, they are unable to pay the depositors. When they are into financial crisis, the central bank comes in as a helping hand, rescue them, put them in the track, and let their company. You know, they have to do that. If they don't do that, see the consequences. The people will lose the confidence in the banking sector. Why? One bank has failed. They are unable to pay the depositors' money. What is the bad news spread among the people? No, there is a bank failed. And your bank, other banks which are not failed, doing well, you will have a suspicions over them. If one bank failed, there could be easily other bank can infected by this failure. So central bank should not allow that to happen. They have to go and immediately address. That is lender. They are giving a loan against the asset, whatever the bank, and let them put into the right track. So that's a rescue them. That is also central bank. One of the financial system stability mechanism as acting as a lender to of last resort. So resolving failing institution manner, yeah, you minimize them and possible whatever adverse you get some warning signal if a bank is not doing well. The central bank monetary mechanism, regular monetary mechanism will detect that and address that issue. So that is where the central bank function. They continue to supervise the regulator. Yes, there is some key rates that is published by central bank that he called monetary policy rates. These rates are published by central bank generally every 1.5 months. Every 1.5 months time they review. So generally it's called 8 times per calendar year. So if you take every 1.5 months they review. But if necessary arises, they review very frequent. Now, so the rate that I have given you is the last published rate. But the slide prepared within the matter of few days, this rate got changed. Now you got to do the change. The rate have been reduced. The first rate, standing deposit facility rate, I quoted as 6% should be corrected to 5.5. Please do that. Please do the correction to 5.5. And the standing lending facility rate 7.5 again reduced to 6.5. So you can see always the difference between these two rates are 1%. Deposit rate is 5.5 current rate and the lending rate is 6.5. Always difference between these two rates are 1%. What are these rates? What is the standing deposit facility rate? What is? Have I missed any of those slides previously? Writing the bank's name? Have you any of those? I think we are going through. Right. Okay. We are going through. We didn't miss any slides to write. There are certain slides I have kept blank for you to take down some notes. You can take it down if you want. Right. Okay. So here, monetary policy rates. Monetary policy rates is the rate that have been issued by central bank on a regular basis. 1.5 months they review. If necessary arises, they review maybe every 1 month they could do that. But minimum 8 times per calendar year they review this rate. The last review what I got it is 6 and 7. Recently they reviewed and brought down to 50 basis points down. The rate was brought down to 5.5 and 6.5. What are these rates? The standing deposit facility rate, also known as, prior to 2004, it was known as repurchase rate. And the other lending rate known as reverse repurchase rate in 2004. This rate got changed, the name got changed in 2004 to standing deposit facility rate and standing lending facility rate, right? What are these names? Standing deposit facility rate, where if a banking, in banking system, if each bank has extra liquidity, they have extra cash overnight, they have extra liquidity. Those money can be kept with central bank and the central bank will pay them at the rate of currently 5.5. Standing deposit facility rate. So in the banking system, when there is an overnight liquidity, that will be absorbed by the central bank at the rate of 5.5. Vice versa. If the banking system, there is a shortage of liquidity. There is a shortage of liquidity. Then central bank come and injects that money. In other words, they are lending to the banks at the rate of 6.5. So their lending rate to the commercial bank at the rate of 6.5. Their deposit taking rate is 5.5. So if you can jot down those two rate out, change the rate 5.5 and change the other one rate at 6.5. Then you have statutory reserve ratio. What is this ratio? This is when a bank accepts deposit. Take example, if A comes and deposit 100,000 in a bank account. Now that 100,000, you know, we have seen that bank is trying to create that money in the form of a loan to others and try to use it. So that's the same thing we learn in the morning session. We learn where the goldsmith taken a gold and giving a receipt and then started lending. Same theory apply. The statutory reserve ratio is monitoring the ability of the banks to lend against the deposit is curtailed by this rate. So let me explain. So some say that 100,000 a depositor come and deposit the money with the bank. When it comes to 100,000, central bank expect 4% of 100,000. That means 4% of 100,000. How much is 4% of 100,000? Is 4% of 100,000. So if it is 4% of 100,000, 5 zeros, it's 4% of 100,000. You're supposed to keep 4% of your 100,000 with central bank in the form of cash. That is you call statutory reserve ratio. So if it is 100 rupees, you are supposed to keep 4 rupees. If it is 1,000 rupees, you keep 40 rupees. If it is 10,000, 400. If it is 100,000, 4,000 rupees. Kept as a 4% in the central bank in the form of a cash. In other words, simple terms, that money kept in the central bank in the form of a cash, remember, in the form of a reserve cash. So if a person comes and deposits 100,000, 4% goes to central bank in the form of a cash. Balance I have 96,000 for me to lend. Only 96,000 for me to lend. 4,000 already gone. So that means the central bank curtailing my lending capacity of this entire 100,000. I can't lend it. Central bank says, look here, you are supposed to keep 4,000 cash. Only 96 you can lend. That again, I can't lend the 96,000 because the person who kept the 100,000 may come and take money next month. I am supposed to repay him. I can't say I am unable to repay him. Anytime he can come. So I am keeping certain amount of liquidity. Liquidity means in the form of cash. So if a depositor come 100,000, I am keeping 4%, which is 4,000 I kept in central bank as a statutory reserve requirement. So in other words, every deposit, bank has to keep certain percentage in the form of a cash with central bank called statutory reserve ratio. So in other words, the bank's supposed to keep from their deposit liability 4% currently with central bank. If the rate is increased by central bank, let's say they are increasing the rate from 4% to 5%. So you should understand why central bank increasing. When they increase the 5%, what does it mean to you? That means, are they allowing me to lend more, or are they allowing me to not to lend more? They are not allowing me to lend more. Why? I'm supposed to keep from the same 100,000. I am supposed to keep 5,000. Now the percent is 5%. So from 100,000, I'm supposed to keep 5,000 in the form of a statutory reserve requirement. So my lending ability reduced to 95. Earlier it was 96. So central by increasing SRR rate, allowing the commercial bank lending ability to be reduced, the central bank feel more credit is given by the banks to the economy. Banks are giving more lending. They want to reduce it. They will increase the rate. If central bank feels banks should lend more because the economy do not have money, in the economy people do not have money to do business, central bank will reduce this rate to 3%. If they reduce to 3%, what is my position? Take same example. I am 100,000. I am keeping only 3,000. I have 97,000 to lend. My lending capacity to the general public is increased. So by adjusting this SRR rate, central bank can monitor the lending ability of the commercial bank need to be increased or need to be reduced based on this rate. So these are the three monetary policy rates published on every 1.5 months. These rates are reviewed and they publish. So the current rate of standing deposit facility rate, which is the rate which banks can deposit their overnight liquidity with central bank and take the rate of 5.5. And if the banks are shortfall, bank can go and borrow from central bank and at the rate of 6.5 currently. And you also should understand, when you are keeping your extra money with the central bank in order to get the deposit rate, it's non-collateralized. That means they will not give any security. You have to simply keep the money, they will pay you interest. That's all. But this is collateralized. When you want to borrow from central bank, say banking sector do not have money, you go to the central bank asking them to give a loan. So they will give you a loan provided you have to give some security. You have to, if you have a treasury bill or whatever, you have to give the collateral, give the security to the central bank to borrow. So this is collateral. The other one is non-collateral. So when you are borrowing from central bank, you need to give some security. But when you are keeping your deposit, central bank do not give anything. Central bank simply asks you to keep your extra money. If you want, you don't go and give it to the central bank at the rate of 5.5 and getting 5.5. If you can lend it out. If you don't have any opportunity to lend, you can't go to anywhere else. But all of a sudden, overnight, you have a huge liquidity. Somebody come and deposit money. You don't have anything to do next day. Until such time, deposit the money with the central bank. They will pay you 5.5. That is standing deposit facility rate, formerly known as repurchase rate. Other rate where you want to lend it from central bank, the banking sector, banking segment industry having a shortfall of liquidity, they can borrow from the central bank at the rate of 6.5 current rate. That goes as standing lending facility rate, formerly known as reverse repurchase rate. So these are two rates, policy rate, in added SRR, statutory reserve SRR. Before I go into this licensed commercial bank, I want you to, in the banking sector, licensed commercial bank, I want you to write all the commercial bank a list. I suppose if you have a space, you can write it here or take a piece of paper and write this. So I'm going to write all the 25 commercial banks that are in existence in Sri Lanka for you to know. Before you get into the commercial banks, you should know what are the banks that are in existence, right? So 25 banks. Amana Bank, Bank of Ceylon, Bank of China. This is a new bank established, the latest bank established in the list, Bank of China. DFC Bank, DFCC Bank. We call it Deutsche Bank, so which is a foreign bank, Deutsche Bank. Athens National Bank. Abib Bank, yet another foreign bank, Abib Bank. I think we missed the C, we'll write 3. Cargill's Bank. Citibank, Cargill's Bank, Citibank. Commercial Bank of Ceylon. So I will repeat this: Hamana Bank, Bank of Ceylon, Bank of China, DFCC Bank, Deutsche Bank, Athens National Bank, Abib Bank, Cargill's Bank, Citibank, Commercial Bank of Ceylon. And right on the other side. ICICI Bank. This is one of the Indian bank, ICICI Bank. Just put a note and see, this is verge of, they are closing down. They are moving from Sri Lanka market, right? ICICI. Indian Bank. Indian Overseas Bank. Muslim Commercial Bank, you can call it as MCB. Nation Trust Bank, NDB, you can call it as NTB. This is Nation Trust Bank. This is National Development Bank. People's Bank. Pan-Asia Bank. People's Bank, Pan-Asia Bank. There is one more for Public Bank. Public Bank Berhad. This is a Malaysian bank, foreign bank. Public Bank Berhad, right? So let me go through again. ICICI, Indian Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Muslim Commercial Bank, Nation Trust Bank, National Development Bank, People's Bank, Pan-Asia Bank, Public Bank Berhad. Let me write on the other side. You can hopefully can see that. I can write on the other side. So you are taking down these banks. Ceylon Bank, Sampat Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, State Bank of India. Then you call the HSBC, the Hong Kong Shanghai Bank, you call it. You call it the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, or you can call it as HSBC, the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, right? And the Union Bank. Union Bank. So let's start counting and see whether we have about 25 banks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So we have all 25 banks. We have one bank that is already existed called Axis Bank. Axis Bank already exited. So we were 26, they have gone. Even ICICI is verge of closing. So we will, when the ICICI gone, we will back to 24 banks. So with the ICICI, we have 25. So out of all these 25, you should know which are the state bank. I will just underline. These two are the state bank, Bank of Ceylon. People's Bank, these two are state-owned bank. These two are state-owned bank. All others local banks. So you need to know the difference between State Bank, you know the difference between other banks, what are the local bank, what are the foreign banks. I just underline foreign bank separately, so you can see all others are remain as. So out of this, the Bank of China is one of the foreign bank. Deutsche Bank is one of the foreign bank. Abid Bank is a foreign bank. Citibank is a foreign bank. ICIC is a foreign bank. Indian Overseas Bank is a foreign bank. Indian Bank, Indian Overseas Bank. Muslim Commercial Bank, foreign bank. Public Bank, Berger is a foreign bank. Standard Chartered Bank is a foreign bank. State Bank of India is a foreign bank. Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation is a foreign bank. So you can see all others are not underlined, are local commercial bank. Amana Bank, DFCC, National Bank, Cargill's Bank, Commercial Bank, Nation Trust, NDB, Pan Asia, Ceylon, Sampat, Union. These are all local banks, local commercial banks. So you know the difference between out of 25 banks, 2 state-owned bank, Bank of Ceylon People's Bank, all underlying ones are foreign bank, rest of the banks are local banks. Out of here, the unique bank, Islamic concept. Amana is a fully fledged Islamic bank. Amana Bank is an Islamic bank. Though they listed under commercial bank, they are the Islamic bank. Fully fledged Islamic bank in Sri Lanka is Amana Bank. So these are the 25 banks. Oh, we are written down. I will read the banks for you again. Amana Bank, Bank of Ceylon, Bank of China, DFCC Bank, Deutsche Bank, Hatton National Bank, Abid Bank, Cargill's Bank, Citibank, Commercial Bank of Ceylon, ICIC Bank, Indian Bank, Indian Overseas Bank, Muslim Commercial Bank, Nation Trust Bank, National Development Bank, NDB, People's Bank, Pan Asia Bank. Sometimes Pan Asia Banking Corporation, they go sometimes Pan Asia Banking Corporation, or you can call it as Pan Asia Bank. Public Bank, Berhad. Then you have Ceylon, Sampat. I saw somebody asking Standard Chartered Bank, that is 22, is a Standard Chartered Bank. SCB you call it. State Bank of India. Then the Hong Kong Shanghai Banking Corporation, which is goes as HSBC. Then the Union Bank, the last bank. Okay, then we will see you in the next class with the remaining slides. Just go through and probably I will get to know, and also give me your feedback. Where are you working, or just give you whatever the feedback, so I can collectively get it and see whether you are working in a bank or whether you are working in whatever the institution, so that I will have some sort of idea when I started next lecture based on your feedback. So give me your feedback, whatever. So where do you simply you say that you are student, or if you are working in a bank, just say I'm working in a bank. What section if you are working? Simply, if you can give me that, so that I will have collectively know that where are you, the mix of the people. So the first question before I commence my lecture, I get a feedback where are you all coming from, so that I will structure. But here, since we are working in the new normal environment, it's not possible. But see you in the next class. But give you your feedback and give you your comments, which bank and where are you working from, so that will be supporting me. Okay. See you. Thank you.